Okay, so thank you very much for involving me in this. Let me start my presentation immediately. Pandit, let me little clarify here. My topic is not difficult hysterectomy, but it is difficulties in a laparoscopy where hysterectomy plays a very important operation. So
Okay.
it's a basically a very minor basic problems which we are going to face. So these problems may not be common to all. For beginners, it might be more common, but as we become more senior, they will become less common. But believe me, whether it's a junior or a senior, it becomes more irritating, frustrating, and brings down the confidence in the surgery. So let me start with the first one. Look at this video now, and this video is already started. Now, I don't have to tell you what is this, but this does happen. This is basically at the entry level itself. It's an extraperitoneal approach. And then it has happened, whether it could be direct or it could be, Verey's needle, but this has happened. So what happens next is then we try to do, somebody put in a little more force and look at this now. We have put in a little more force and we have gone into the omentum, and the gas is actually distending the omentum. So all of you know the tricks. You have to gradually withdraw the trocar and then look at this. You suddenly come out and you see this beautiful vessel which is bleeding here. So then again it adds to your problem. You try to go in, you try to come out, and in this situation, you tend to dissect the rectus. You try to make a multiple holes in the rectus sheath itself. And that's what I thought it's one of the major problems. No, enough of problems. Now, how to avoid these problems? So problems, what I feel is whenever we do an entry through the umbilicus, look at this, all these points are very, very important. The blade should be facing up, umbilicus is nicely cleaned, and then when the blade is facing up, we have just made a nick into the umbilicus so that I know after lifting the umbilicus with Alice forceps or a towel clip, and that we have to catch it very gently, not with the maximum force. You might take out the umbilicus itself. There are big marks on it. Once you start seeing the fat, then you put in a Verey's needle. Everyone knows how to confirm it is inside, but once you put in the Verey's needle, just see that you should not rotate the Verey's needle too much, because if you move the Verey's needle by mistake, if it is inside the bowel or omentum, it will cause more and more harm. And that's what I thought I must mention there. What is the situations or problems where we can go wrong? One of the situations, believe me, 90% of the films are mine. I have created this problem. So I don't blame anyone else. So here in this case, when sister was not fast enough to give me Alice, I used the blade without putting umbilicus at high level. And once I gone inside, just see what has happened now. This is the picture. And then I was thinking there's definitely something has gone wrong. Why in the beginning only there is such amount of fluid? The look itself was not good. So we tried to search everywhere in the pelvis. No, this is not normal. Sometimes you get a, so this was the another video which shows, this is a hysterectomy. We are at the end of the hysterectomy and assistant was retracting the bowel. Once we finish the hysterectomy, this is a vault which is opened and everything is fine, but then we realize there is some amount of fresh bleeding which is coming. And look at the fresh bleeding. And this is what I just wanted to bring it to everyone's notice. Sometimes in the gist of finishing surgery fast, we might have another injury. And that is what the bowel injury, which was detected at the end. And that's what I thought I will share it with you. Coming to the next problem, and that's the problem is basically nothing but look at these videos. And this is the one video which is going on, which I will play it from here. This is another video which is again playing from here. And by seeing this, are you happy? Of course, nobody is going to be happy with the vision which you are going to see. Let me play this. This video I wanted to show, and it is showing that it's a lot of fogging which is happening, And this basically fogging is nothing but there is a lens after clearing again and again, there's a lot of problem. Now what is happening in this is basically, this is again gone. Dominic, are you changing from their side? Something like that is happening. Just let it be there. Let it be there. Let it be there. I will change. So I will change now. Please don't touch anyone else. So this was, I just wanted to show this is the fogging which is happening. And this fogging, which is the commonest thing which we see. So I just want to bring it to everyone notice there are certain things which we can do it to avoid the fogging. And there are multiple stages now in this slide. It may not be seen, but I'll say it on my own. There is a warm saline, repeatedly cleaning it. Basically what we have to do is the temperature of the scope and a temperature inside the abdomen, it has to be the same. And there are multiple methods by which we can avoid this fogging. And one of the methods to avoid the fogging is basically clean with the hand, clean with the gauze piece. But commonest and most useful is basically use a normal soapy solution. And what commonly we do, and actually this video is actually showing that, is cleaning with the betadine solution, or you can have chlorhexidine solution. If you clean it, it's much better. Get the temperature of the telescope to more than 34 to 35 degrees, the fogging will definitely go down. Otherwise, every time you take out the telescope and put it inside, this fogging is going to be there. And this is one of the frustrating factors it can happen. There are different modifications, something like a hot CO2 can be put in, but this will reduce the post-operative pain, but it may not reduce the fogging all the time. So that is what basically a point which I wanted to bring it to everyone's notice. Lastly, I have mentioned this as a dancing uterus in cases of hysterectomies, and I hope this slide plays, then it will come to know what happens is basically whenever we are at the end of this hysterectomy, the uterus specimen starts moving. And when the uterus starts moving, basically, no, I will let it be there now, I'll finish. When the hysterectomy is getting over, basically this uterus, because of there's a tug of war between the assistant, let it be there. What happens, the uterus keeps on rotating and that creates a problem. So assistant actually has to fix it on one side, and then the main surgeon should be more comfortable, and then he does it. I have one more slide to go, and that is basically, it shows this is, again, I hope it is, oh, don't change it, please. This is basically showing bowels which are coming at the, in the surgery.
2 minutes left, sir.
Okay. So this is my second last slide, and basically what is happening, and you will come to know after hysterectomy, I'm trying to take the bowel up, but the bowel, there's actually a competition between, a tug of war between me and the bowels. Why this is happening, we have to check it again and again. In between, sometimes anesthetists, they keep the patients light. And if the patient is trying to come out, patients try to push. So we have to tell them, it has to be a deep. And I have mentioned on this side, sometimes the light patients not properly anesthetized, deep anesthesia, they can go in a vasovagal reflex and shock. So I think this is some of the points which I thought I must elaborate. Everybody will talk about the high funda things like uterine artery, ureter, and so many things. But some of the basics points we forget, which I have touched upon: extraperitoneal, then taking shortcuts while going into the abdomen and injuring intra-abdominal important structures. Where do we retrieve the tissues, or the fogging, how to tackle the fogging. And what I have said here is endoscopy really has a long curve. For someone, it could be stepping stone, but majority of the people, it's a stumbling block. I just want to say is we need not have a too smart assistant, because he will start operating on behalf of you, or at the same time, not too much of a junior, because he only keep on flattering you and you do not know what you are doing. And as everybody says, and I also agree to this, we need to have a good teacher who will tell me whether it's a junior or senior. No, this is a wrong step, or this is a correct step. This is a point where you have to improve, or this is a wrong way it has been held. All these messages will make us a better surgeon. Thank you very much for patient listening, and sorry for the glitches which was there in the presentation. Thank you very much.